So we have our key light, our fill light, a hair light, a practical light, and a colored background LED light. When you put all of those things together, you get something that looks like this. This is way better and looks way more professional than your standard room lighting. And in this video, I want to share with you how you can improve the quality of your videos by upgrading your lighting setup. Let's get right into it. So to achieve a look like this, the first light that you're going to need is a key light. The key light is the main source of light, and this is the one that I have that's angled about 45 degrees from where I am right now. Now the key light that I have is the Godox SL60W. This is a very powerful and strong light. It's very high quality and it's pretty affordable compared to some of the other lights that are on the market. The light by itself comes with a general reflector, but I also have attached a light modifier on it, which is the small rig softbox with a grid attached to it as well. This helps to soften the light and make it a little bit more pleasing, a little bit more flattering for your subject. It helps it to create an even look. And so I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like just with this key light. So this is what the light looks like with just the key light. As you can see, it does light me pretty well. It's pretty soft and even, not too many harsh shadows, but there are a ton of shadows in this scene. The rest of the room is totally black, so there's nothing else that you can see. I kind of fade into the background. You can't really tell what's going on behind me, but this does a really good job at lighting me from the front, creating that nice even light that's really flattering for your subject. I will have a link in the description box below for the specific light and the light modifier that is on it. And so regardless of the type of light that you might use for your key light, I would suggest a softbox. A softbox is going to create more of that soft, even lighting that reduces some of the harsh shadows that you might have. Here's a before and after with the softbox and without. So this is what it looks like without the softbox, and I only have the light turned up to about 50%. But you can see these really harsh shadows that it's creating because the light source is so small. But with the softbox, what it does is it increases the surface area of the light and helps it wrap around your subject, again making it more flattering, and it makes it look more professional when it comes to the entire look and lighting setup. So let's get this thing back on there. Much better. And when you angle your key light at a 45-degree angle, it really lights about 3/4 of your face really well. But what about that other quarter that's really dark? That's where the fill light comes in. I want to show you what that looks like when we add our fill light. So here is the fill light just by itself. It's lighting just the outside edges of the right side of my face, filling in some of those shadows that our key light was creating. Now I've got this set pretty low, so it's very subtle, but you can see this nice outline that helps separate me from the background. And even just that small amount of light really does make a difference in the full picture. So let's take a look at the key light plus our fill light. So here's what the key light and the fill light looks like. And you can see how it has this little kind of edge along the left side of my body, filling in all of those shadows, and it creates a nice pleasing look, helps to create a little bit more depth, and it does kind of go to that next level of professional look. When you've got these little reflections on the side of your face, that helps it to just make it look a whole lot better. Even though we have the key and the fill light, we still seem like we're in a 2D space. So let's create a little bit more depth with a hair light. So here is what the hair light is doing just by itself. So what this light is doing is essentially highlighting my hair and kind of my shoulders. And what this does is it separates me further from the background, creating a little bit more depth. And when it comes to the mood of this scene, it's very moody. It almost looks like I should be talking really deep and really slow. So listen here, Jimmy. I'm gonna tell you once, I ain't gonna tell you again. If you don't get your lighting right, it's not gonna be good for you. It's not gonna be good for you, Jimmy. You can have everything else. if you don't have your lighting right, it's all over. So get your lighting right, Jimmy. And that's some of the power of lighting. So here's what it looks like with all three: our key light, our fill light, and our hair light. And for the hair light, I'm using a really small LED light. This one is by Newer. It has 160 LEDs inside this tiny little panel, and I've got it mounted onto my ceiling just so that it's easy for me to just flip the light on and off and get that hair light effect. When it comes to these three lights, it looks pretty good. The only thing I would say is we want to create a little bit more depth with our background and make the scene a little bit more interesting. And let's do that with a practical light. So this practical light that I'm using is actually just a light bar for my monitor. And it's considered a practical light because it's a light that you can see in the scene. Any light that you can see inside of your scene or your setup is considered a practical light. And most practical lights are going to be your standard lamp lights or anything that looks aesthetically and visually pleasing that also acts as a light source inside of your scene. And so while I use this light for function to be able to see when I'm at my desk, this light also adds just a little bit of interest and an aesthetic appeal to our scene, and it looks pretty clean, highlighting the wood color that is on the desk. And what that does is it creates more depth. Before, without the practical light, you couldn't see anything back there. But with the practical light kind of shining down on the desk, you can see and you get a little bit more of a feel of what the environment looks like. You can tell that I'm in my home office, and it kind of brings more color from the color of the desk. And the last light that I like to use is to bring a little bit more color into the mix. So let's add our RGB, our color LED light. So here's what that light is doing just by itself. And really what it's doing is casting a light, a color on my wall. Now the wall is a gray color, which helps to bring out more of the color of this light. Like I mentioned before, it just brings a little bit more of a vibe and feel. This light does have several different colors that you can choose from. This is actually a light that you would use to maybe light up the front of your house during Halloween or during Christmas, but I found that it's really bright and it works really well in this lighting situation. So I hope that this video helped you to visualize what you can do when it comes to your lighting setup. And if you want to know more about how you can improve your setup or what type of cameras that you can pick up, make sure you check out this playlist of videos where I break down all different types of content creation tools to help you create better content for your business or your personal brand. If you found this video helpful, I appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe for more. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.